Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Avery. I'm 24 years old and I make videos about personal finance and budgeting. In today's video, it's going to be both a February budget with me and a really long life update. I actually decided to sit down and write down everything I wanted to say in this video, so I might be reading off my phone a little bit, at least for the life updates, because I just find it really hard sometimes to think on the fly when I'm filming my YouTube videos, so I don't want to get like stressed out and miss everything or just say things in a way that I didn't intend. So let me go ahead and pull up my phone here. Also, we're just going to do a black and white moment today with the photo booth because I kind of got some pimple action going on here and everyone just looks better in black and white. So why put on makeup when you could just be in black and white? Oh, and I'm also using a different microphone. I left my microphone at my house by accident. I'm filming at my boyfriend's, so hopefully I'm talking loud enough and hopefully there's not too much background noise and I don't have to redo this. So yeah, let's get into this. So first of all, I wanted to do a life update along with this budget with me because I don't always feel like I have an outlet for expressing my feelings and struggles. And although I've been journaling a lot lately, there's just something different about telling someone else about it, even if that person's like on the internet. I don't exactly know who they are. I know some of you guys are, but I don't know everyone. Because lately I've just been feeling and struggling a lot with like feeling like I'm alone all the time, both mentally and physically. So where have I been? First of all, sorry to anyone that has commented on my YouTube videos lately. I've been a little missing in action or MIA. It may not be obvious based on my last video that I posted, but I actually have not filmed anything since January 2nd. So it's been like 4 weeks. Yeah, so sorry about that. And sorry if you've been commenting on my channel. I have been seeing the messages. I just haven't gotten around to responding to them. I had plans to make more videos this month in January, but it just never quite came together because, like I said, I've just been struggling a lot mentally. Maybe I should sit back a little. I never know like where to be when I'm like filming with myself on camera. So if you cannot tell, I'm not a natural. So if you like to see very polished videos, maybe one day those will come from me, but for now they're not. I really appreciate the comments though, and seeing people who regularly comment on my videos does make me quite happy. I do wonder sometimes like what people are up to if they haven't commented in a while. I know people get busy or they get disinterested or everything like that, but I do genuinely care about how everyone is doing that watches my channel. So if you have commented on my videos before, letting me know, thank you. Sorry that I don't always respond all the time. I'm not ignoring anything. It's just that I've been really unable to balance everything in my life for a while now. So I've just been falling off a lot on different things. What I mean by that is like my new job has been a lot of work. It's very stressful, and our department is just extremely disorganized at the moment. I'm still doing all the work of my old position in the office as well as the workload of my current position, so everything is just kind of feeling a bit impossible lately, which is very exhausting. I just like work and then I just like go to bed and then I wake up and I work and then I go to bed and I wake up and I work and I go to bed. So like hopefully there's more of a balance to that soon. I don't want to dwell on it too much, but I am hoping things get better soon. As far as like mental health updates go, if you can tell in my intro, I have been struggling with my mental health. I have what's called treatment resistant depression. It can be very hard to reckon with because I have been trying very hard to feel better, but sometimes treatment just doesn't work, or it's really hard to find the correct treatment for my body and my mind. Like I do everything that you're supposed to do, like go to therapy, you're supposed to exercise consistently. I take vitamin D supplements because I live in the Midwest and there's no sunlight in winter. I I take antidepressant, I take an anti-anxiety med, I watch my diet, I go on walks every day. I don't even know. I do yoga. I said I went to therapy. Basically anything you can think of, I have done or am currently doing to try and feel better as far as like my depression goes, but I don't. Sometimes the reality is like if you have treatment resistant depression, you are just always going to cycle through these highs and these lows, and it's so far I just haven't found like the right thing for me. But it could also just be very discouraging when you can't find the right thing. Like, I'm trying so hard to get a handle on my health, and like I'm putting so much effort into it. So when I am doing that and it's not working, it really does kind of feel like you're just failing at something and struggling with something. And another thing I didn't mention is like I have chronic fatigue. So like some days I just get really tired, and like I just get so tired, and like I don't understand why. Even like it has no rhyme or reason to how much I slept the night before, or how my sleep went, or anything like that, or what time I got up. I just get like very exhausted. Um, I don't know what else really to say about that, other than I might start the day with like one plan, but then by the end of the day or by the middle of the day, I just have like no energy left, and I can't do anything else despite how badly I wanted to do those things. I'm just unable to do so. So this has mostly kind of been like the mental health issues. They've been a bit of a lifelong struggle for me, partially in connection to my chronic health issues, but also partially in connection to childhood. When I was growing up, I actually went to a new psychiatrist lately. I went to a new psychiatrist, and she gave me an updated diagnosis of complex PTSD, which is not something that's right. What's the word? It's not something that's recognized in like the DSM-5, but I guess it's recognized in like other countries and their whatever they used for mental health. But so it's just a form of PTSD basically. I wasn't sure honestly how to feel about this at the beginning when I first heard about it, because I'm just pretty resistant, I guess, as a person. I don't know how to explain it. But after a while, like I started to like feel a bit more better about it, and because things started to really click into place, like why I've been struggling for so long and why everything is just so difficult. Um, yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. But it's basically led to me and my therapist. Like for a while, I felt like me and my therapist weren't making like any traction or any progress in therapy. And I didn't know if it was a me problem or her problem or like an us problem. But since this new diagnosis, we've decided to change tracks or tactics, I guess, and we're going to try. It's called eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, or EMDR. I'm a little scared to try this. I'm not gonna lie. It sounds a bit stressful or frightening. If you've ever tried this and you're comfortable sharing your experience, please let me know, like in the comments, if how it went. I would really appreciate that, but don't feel like you need to if it was an uncomfortable situation, or if you don't want to share it for some reason. I'm fine with that as well. Yeah, so that's basically how mental health is going. As far as like another issue I feel like I'm having lately in my life is just like transitioning from like college age to like my mid 20s, so like my true young adulthood age. I'm 24. I've been struggling with this a lot lately. I think there was a bit of a delayed struggle as I graduated right when the pandemic started. Um, but I'm starting to feel very disconnected and isolated from my old friends, because have all moved away or moved to different states, or we've just simply grown in different directions, and we're at different points in our lives now. So this isn't necessarily like a bad thing, but it does lead to this feeling of just being isolated all the time and having no friends. Like no one really tells you that like a lot of adulthood is just kind of like you wake up, you work, you go home. By the time you're done cooking and cleaning and doing that, like everything like that, and preparing for the next workday, that's it. Like you're pretty much just like completely out of time. Like without, you can never balance everything that you want to do with what you have to do, which can be very hard and very difficult when you feel so isolated, in my opinion. And I do live alone, so that's kind of also contributing to the factor, I think. But something else I wanted to say about this. Yeah, I know I need to get some hobbies that get me outside of the house, but that feeling of having no time and that feeling of just being depressed has made it a very extremely uphill struggle for me to like pursue new hobbies or interests, because like if you're depressed, you don't really have that many interests. That's kind of like the whole, not the whole thing, but like one big major aspect of depression is that you lose interest in things that you used to love. So that's something I've obviously been dealing with. So it's very difficult to handle everything, I guess. Yeah, so that's all I'll say about that. Another thing I feel like I'm struggling with is like trying to take a step back from social media, specifically like websites like Instagram have been, it sort of exacerbates this feeling of isolation, because I've realized very quickly that if you're not constantly just putting yourself out there through Instagram stories or posts or what are commenting on people's accounts, you're just easily forgotten about, in my experience, which is kind of sad to me, and it's also kind of a reflection of our modern culture. But that's kind of a video for another day. I'm just really tired of social media because I don't think it's easy to have a healthy relationship with social media, but I also feel like you kind of feel like you're forced to be on there just to feel connected to people, even though the connection is ultimately very hollow, evidenced by the point that by the second you disappear on it, no one thinks about you or reaches out to you anymore, if that makes sense. So yeah, that's kind of a video for another day. I think this is my last update. It's for my job. So going back to my job update, I did start my new position, and without getting into it too much, I knew this new job was going to be pretty bad, to be honest. Like, it was going to be a lot of work. It was advertised as a lot of work, but so far it's somehow been worse than that. It's somehow been more work, and it's been just like a worse position. Every day it kind of just feels like I'm sprinting to get an impossible amount of work done. Like, I feel like I'm just constantly nonstop all day working, which we all know, like, in modern jobs is not really that way. Most people are not really fully productive 8 hours a day, regardless of what you're forced to work. But in this position, like, you have to do it. Like, there's just, everything is constantly flying at you to get stuff done. It reminds me a lot of like working in a call center. Like, there's no downtime in a call center, especially one that's like constantly busy, constantly getting calls, and they expect you to just constantly be on the phone. It reminds me of that, except I'm not in a call center, if that makes sense. Yeah, so just every day feels completely impossible. A lot of this is because like the position has so many competing priorities that if you're focused on like one thing for that day versus like some other thing, whoever decided that whoever wanted you to focus on the other thing basically thinks you're doing nothing because you're not doing the thing they want you to do, even though you might have something else that you're considering more important. And it's very frustrating. Even if they're not saying that to you, you can kind of get that impression. So it can be a bit difficult in that sense to just manage all the different competing priorities, especially if I'm not going to get into it too much further than that, because I could talk about my job for hours, and something I've been trying to do is just like let my job be my job, and like not let the job take over my mind and take over my thoughts outside of work. Talking about it now, so clearly I'm failing, but I did want to get an update on my new job. It's very exhausting, I guess, is what I would say. It's taking up a lot of my physical time. I already got into this. And when I'm not working, it's on my mind a lot, like what I need to do the next day, what I need to do later in the week, who I need to respond to, who I need to talk to, like what I need to create, like so many different things. So it's really hard to relax. I don't want to dwell on it too much. I'm still dwelling on it, I guess, because it doesn't really get me anywhere, and I also don't want to share like too much about work. Maybe I already did, but I just hate working 40 hours a week. That's what I'll say. Like, and this goes across like any job I've ever had. Like, working 40 hours every single week is like a terrible experience, and I recommend it to no one, and I don't think society should be built this way. But another video for another day. That way I don't spend like 40 minutes talking about that. Okay, that's it for life updates. Let's go ahead and talk about the month of February. So for the month of February, I don't have many plans for this month. February, as far as I'm concerned, is usually the worst month of winter. It's usually when you feel like you should be coming out of winter, but somehow winter just, like, it goes down and just gets worse for like a month and a half. And then finally, maybe in the middle of March, things are starting to get better again. That's another thing, like in the winter time, like my depression gets a lot worse and my energy goes down a lot, which is kind of, I guess, like probably pretty common for most people, but it's just another thing that you have to just deal with. So I guess like trying to be very, very, very productive combined with a season of the year that should not have these expectations of productivity, simply because the human body is not really designed that way, is very difficult to deal with. I think I'm going to visit a friend in another city this month, and we're going to go to hopefully an NBA game, so that would be nice if that comes into fruition. That money will just come out of my spending category. There are some concerts in future months that I want to go to that I will need to buy the tickets for, and that'll probably happen in this month, so I do need money in my spending category for that. And my spin studio is supposedly starting a book club, so I'm planning on doing that if they end up like actually going forward with it, because that should hopefully get me just more connected to something I'm already doing, which is going to the spin studio, and I can get to know people more that go there. Because one thing I like about spins, just like exercise classes in general, is that you're always with people that are like trying to improve like how they're doing, whether it's like physically or mentally, or they just are like completely ambitious, you know. And I actually think that's a very good energy to surround yourself with. People that want to do things, want to leave the house, and want to go places, and just like experience new experiences is great, because I do truly believe like you are who you surround yourself with. And if I've just been surrounding myself with myself, or I'm just going to work and everyone's kind of in a bad mood, it's of course going to lead to like me having a bad mood too, because the energy is just weighing me down. So going around people with like a new perspective and new ambitions and goals, I think would be a good thing for me. So hopefully that is something they get started with. Of course, there's Valentine's Day. I told you this is going to be a long intro. I'm so sorry, but like this is a life update, and we'll get into the budgeting. If you want to do the budgeting, you can just skip ahead to that. Valentine's Day is happening. Me and my boyfriend will probably go on a nice dinner. We may not go on actual Valentine's Day, but we'll go sometime in the month of February on a nice dinner. We made a reservation for a place that we've been wanting to try, but I may need to reschedule it because it conflicts with the basketball game. It just kind of depends on what ends up happening this month. I have a lot of medical appointments in February, as I'm still trying to get a handle on my mental health, of course, and I am also trying to get a handle on my physical health. It's just never ending, I guess. My blood pressure is still a persistent problem, which sucks despite all the things I've tried. It is what it is, but all that to be said, I have been racking up medical bills left, right, and center lately. Like, I've already hit my deductible. I hit it in the second week of January. My deductible is $500, and then I'm going to hit my out-of-pocket max probably by the end of February, and my out-of-pocket max is $1,000. Honestly, I'm actually quite blessed in the sense that I'm still on my dad's health insurance, and he works for a school, so he actually gets pretty good health insurance. He has to spend a lot of money on it, but his overall like individual thought I saw a bird his individual deductible and like the family deductible versus the out-of-pocket max is actually quite low, all things considered. It's not a high deductible health plan, so if I have to spend like $1,000 up front on medical expenses this year, and then the rest of the year everything's covered, that's fine with me, because I have the money in the bank, thank God, and then I can just refill like my budget if I need to. And then what's really nice about it is if I'm hitting it this soon in the year, I can just start planning the rest of my medical year, essentially. Like, do I need to do this? Do I want to do that? Should I do this? Like, what have I not addressed lately that's not what I'm currently addressing, that I might as well just go ahead and get out of the way? A nice thing about my job, I know I've complained about it a lot lately, but a nice thing about it is I do get a lot of sick time. Like, you get 120 hours of sick time, like you earn it throughout the year, so that's 15 days. If you take 8-hour days, if you take 15 full days off, I guess, and then I already have like 17 days saved up, so between the two, I should have plenty of time to do anything that needs to be done, just boring stuff like that. I do work in public service, so I find it's pretty accommodating for people's like medical conditions and just their life in general, so I am at least grateful for that. That's a plus about this job. Yeah. February budget updates. This is the last thing I will say, and then I'll probably come off the screen and we'll actually budget the money we see up here. So as far as changes I've made to my budget since we last spoke, I've decided a few different things. First, I am dissolving my dining out category. I feel like this is something controversial yet brave that I'm doing. I am taking this money from the dining out category. You can see I no longer have it if we look under food because I hid the category, and it is going to be moved down to my spending category. So if we look down here, fun/spending, I have increased my spending category. I'm going to increase it again just with like the money that would have gone to dining out. I decided to do this because I don't need it, because what I found was I just spent all the money in dining out and then I just used all my spending money to dine out more. So clearly I'm a foodie. Clearly the hobby is I like to eat and I like to do it in new places across the city. So I might as well just embrace that, so I don't necessarily need like a specific category for dining out, if that makes sense. I may change my mind in future months, but we're just going to try this in the month of February and see how this goes. Second, my house down payment category. I am shifting my house savings goal for the year a little bit. If you watched my annual budget video, you would know that I was trying to put about $417 each month towards this goal, so I could hit $5,000 for the year. I have decided to shift this down to $350 a month, which would be about $4,200 a year. This is because my partner or my boyfriend received a gift from his grandparents, just to be upfront. And that gives us honestly a significant amount of traction and progress towards our long-term goals together. So we also decided after that happened to make the joint decision that he will continue to save his current amount that he's saving towards our house goal despite the gift, but that I will lower my contribution a little bit so I can have more balance and flexibility in my budget. It's kind of a way to try and take stress off of me, because I think I was feeling a lot of pressure because the house is like, it's our goal, but like it's something that I've just been dreaming about for so long. It's just having my own house. So yes, that's what we decided. So if I'm not putting $417 towards the house, where am I putting the money? And I'm so glad you asked. If you can see right here, I have a pet category. I am going to get a pet this year. I'm going to get a dog. I want a dog. I get so happy and so excited thinking about it. I don't know what kind of dog I'm gonna get. I've thought about getting a Shih Tzu. My mom has 2 Shih Tzus and they're so adorable and they're so sweet, and I think they make really good and loving pets, and they provide like a good emotional support for you if you need that kind of balance in your life. I do know at some point, according to Instagram, I either want a Shih Tzu, I want a Bulldog, or I want a Saint Bernard, and Saint Bernards are huge. So maybe at some point in the future, I'll have all 3 of those dogs, but at the moment, I think we're just might start small and might get a Shih Tzu, but I want to make sure I save money for this. I don't think it's going to happen until July, until me and my boyfriend move in together, so I'm just basically just putting money aside now because I want to do it right, and I want to be able to like take care of the dog and treat the dog properly, because ultimately it is a big responsibility if you take on a dog, and that's how I feel about it. So I want to make sure I have money put aside for that. So that's most likely where that money or that savings is going to go before, while we prepare for the dog. Okay, that's it. I'm going to get off the camera now, and we're going to go ahead and actually budget this money for the month of February. So if we take a look here, I have $3,385.71. This consists of my full-time job money, which I now get paid once a month from. I have a $125 reimbursement from my company's new lifestyle spending account for this quarter, and I also got a little over $30 in interest from my high yield savings account. If you have money you are holding on to long term, I highly recommend getting a high yield savings account because the interest rates on them are relatively high right now, minus 3.3%. I use Ally, so you might as well park your money somewhere where you can earn a little bit of money each month as far as I'm concerned. I used to always have an account that had 0.05% in interest. So my my old main savings account got 7 cents. That's nothing. Versus like if I put most of my money in Ally, I'm getting about $30. But yeah, I use Ally, but there's some other popular accounts. Just from the top of my head, there's Capital One, there's Amex, there's Marcus by Goldman Sachs. That's where the money's coming from. So let's take a look here. My house down payment category, I'm going to put $350 in like we discussed. For gifts, I'm going to do $20 for now. I'm going to do $0 for vacation at the moment, but I did want to give like a vacation update, and then we'll allocate any extra money I have at the end for this. So I mentioned in a previous video that me and my boyfriend wanted to do a 3-year anniversary trip to Gatlinburg in March. This is not happening. What is going to happen instead is in the month of June, we are doing a little over a week-long trip, and a few different things are happening. The first thing we're going to do is drive to DC, and we're going to go sightseeing for a couple days. I've never been to DC, so I'm excited to do this, and there's a lot of museums and, like, of course, like historic landmarks I want to see. Going from there, we're going to drive down to Myrtle Beach, and his mom's wedding is in Myrtle Beach in the middle of the week. So don't ask me why she did it like that, but we're going to the wedding. So we'll be in Myrtle Beach for a couple days and on the beach. And then finally, this is pretty coincidental, but it works out perfectly, is we're going to drive to the border of Tennessee and Kentucky, and we're going to spend the rest of the week with my dad and my stepmom and our family down there, because they have decided to rent like a family cabin for a week. And it happened to be the same week that we have off anyways because of his mom's vacation. So it kind of sucks that we're no longer going to Gatlinburg, but as far as I'm concerned, like the outcome is still the same. Like we're still going to go spend time in Tennessee. We're going to spend time on a lake instead. I don't know if Gatlinburg even has a lake. And then we also get to, like, basically the best of all worlds. We still get to visit his mom in Myrtle Beach and go to her beachfront wedding, and we still get to go to DC, which I've never been to, so it might feel a little chaotic at first, but I think the final part of the week and the time and the amount of time and the part that we spend the longest at will be just relaxing. And sorry, there was like a door that slammed. Relaxing in the beach relaxing on the lake in Kentucky. So looking forward to that. So all that to be said, I'm still going to take a week off around the end of March just to take time for myself and do some self-care. A really big goal I have this year is to try to take a week off about every 3 to 5 months from work to rest and recoup without necessarily having anything planned or any vacations to go on. This will help me remember what I ultimately need to do as far as I'm concerned, which is prioritize myself. And just because I have vacation time, it doesn't mean I necessarily need to use it to go on an actual vacation. Sometimes it's just good to take a week off and focus on yourself. A really long story about vacation plans this year, but again, vacations are like usually the main thing you look forward to, so that's what I've been thinking about. Standing desk and walking pad, I'm going to skip past this one too for now, but I am going to put $125 into the pet category. I just decided this amount because this is the amount that I got back from the lifestyle spending account, so I might as well just put it forward towards the pet. For groceries, I'm going to do $175. This is up from $150 because I decided to move $25 that I was putting in dining out to groceries, because we all know that inflation is kind of killing us right now. For rent and water, it's going to be $858. Renter's insurance I'm not covering right now because it's not needed. I'm just going to cover it from my future moving fund when I actually move next in like a few months. For household, I'm doing $25. I might have to increase this at some point, but it's fine for now. $50 for moving. I already know what my upcoming amount is going to be for electricity, so I'm just going to put that in there and just ignore the underfunded part. And it's $22.63 is what I need. I don't know what gas is. I hope it's not too high, but I need $70 for gas. I need $69.99 for internet, and I need $37.23 for my phone bill. Now, for the phone, sometimes it's like lower than this by a few cents. I have no idea why, but as far as I know, $37.23 is the max that they've seemed to charge me, so hopefully I'll be okay with that. Transportation is spent on like gas, like for my car, and like parking if I have to pay for parking somewhere. So I'm going to do $100 for this. March is a car insurance month. I pay it twice a year, so every 6 months. So I need to put $79.83 in there. And then auto maintenance. A fun story about auto maintenance is I took my car to get service yesterday for the 40,000 mile service, and the guy was like, "You know, this car doesn't need anything done, right?" I know very little about cars. I don't really care to learn about them. I was just trying to follow like the handbook that they give you when you get a car on the recommended service and like when to do it. And I just saw 40,000 miles, so I thought, okay, let's do this. But what I found out when we went there is we broke down what actually gets done, and everything that gets done we already did in August, so we don't need to do it again. The guy basically told me that instead of following the actual mileage, because I just don't use the car that much, so I'm not really doing like their average mileage per year, is that I should just go by years. So as long as nothing's wrong with it, I should just have the car serviced every year or so, and I can just follow the recommended services on that. This is the first time I've had a nice car, so I was just trying to take care of it, but it was actually quite funny getting there at 8 a.m. on a Saturday, and he's like, well, nothing needs done. I was like, wow, okay. Well, at least that saved me like $500. I thought it was going to cost like $500, but it cost me $0 instead, which is really nice because that means this money in this category can build up. And then hopefully whenever I need new tires, which I don't know when, but I should have enough money in there, is my hope. Medical, we're doing 100. May have to increase this at some point, but for now it's 100. I feel like I'm constantly increasing this category, but it would be nice to build up a buffer before I switch over to my own insurance sometime in 2024, because I will be turning 26 in the middle of 2024. Therapy, $30. I think I have a credit on my account, so they haven't charged me the last couple times. I'm not sure, but $30 should be enough because I do have some money built up in here. I have been going more often, but I still think this should be fine. For wellness, this is my spin studio, or like my cycle classes. I'm doing $139 for that. It's kind of pricey, but I find that it's worth it. I'm going to do $20.32 for subscriptions. This is Apple Care, Apple Storage, and Spotify. $8.25 for my YNAB subscription. So what I'm using, what you're looking at right now, is You Need a Budget, or YNAB. It is a budgeting software that I like, and it does cost money. It is about $99 a year, I believe, but I find that it's well worth it, and it helps me just keep such a good handle on my finances. So yeah, that's why I budget for this each month. That way, when it's time for it to renew on a yearly basis, I can cover it. One thing I wanted to mention about YNAB is if you used my referral link recently to subscribe, thank you. That also helps me because I get a free month, so thank you, and I hope you're enjoying YNAB. And if you want to try YNAB for 34 days free, I'll leave a link down below. And then, of course, if you subscribe, you get additional month free, and I get a month free. So full disclosure there, but that's why I put money there. Haircut, trying to grow my hair out just to see how it goes. I don't normally grow it much longer than what we saw it was at the beginning of the video, but I do want to keep putting money into the haircut category just in case. I want to impulse cut my hair, so $25 towards that. I'm trying to save $700 across the year for Christmas, so I need $60 for that. My emergency fund, nothing at the moment. If I end up taking money from it, like say I have some medical bills I need to pay off, I will take money from it and then maybe replenish it in the future. For my Roth IRA, let's do $275. And then for spending money, let's do $400. Oh, if I scroll up, you can see the spending target is $400. So now I have $270.46 remaining, and I'm gonna have to check my notes because I couldn't remember what my priorities are for this month. So let me take a look here. Just a moment. Oh, let's see. So first thing I want to do is put another $25, and let's capture the cents, 46 cents into my Roth IRA. That way it gets it up to $300 for the month. So that is very exciting to me. For my standing desk, I want to put money into this. This is my focus on now category. I would like to buy a standing desk sometime soon in the future. May not end up happening until I actually move in with my boyfriend, but if I can buy it sooner, that would be great. But let's just put 25 in there to bring it up to 100. And then I want to put $50 into vacation. That way I'm saving money for, what is it called? I'm saving money both for my week off, where I'm just taking a week off in March to do nothing, and then for the bigger vacation in June. So $50 towards that. And then I have $170 remaining. So let's put another $50 into the future moving fund. I'm getting a pretty decent balance in here. This is going to cover things like my security deposit for my new place, first month's rent, things like that, maybe new things I want to buy, if I want to furnish stuff differently. So $50 into that. I have $120 remaining. Let's put $45 towards the dog, or the pet, I guess. I do want to get a cat at some point. I think I'm just going to start with a dog, though. I do, or maybe I'll look into it and see like what is the best option. But I do think a dog is something that I need because they're a bit more like high maintenance, and I want something that I can actually just like focus on and keep me grounded. And like I think I'm just really ready for a dog. So $45 into that, and then I have $75 remaining. How about $50 more into the standing desk category? And then finally $25, I'm just going to put it in spending because I think I might get some clothes this month. Not sure how much that will cost. Not a lot of clothes. I think I might buy a bra this month, full disclosure. So let's put $25 into there, and everything is fully assigned. So if you take a look on the right here, it does say I'm underfunded by $22.37. I know exactly what that is though. It's my electric category because I didn't fully fund it. And I simply am just trying something new where I don't fully fund this if I know what the bill is already, like if I'm not budgeting too far in advance, just because I don't need to keep like too much of a balance left over in that category. But other than that, everything is fully covered for the month of February. I do have my next month's spending like holding category for next month. For March, so that is exciting, and we will go from there. So if you like this video, please like it as it really helps out my channel. If you have any questions about anything I've done or talked about in this video, or anything you just want to add to the comments down below, feel free to like this video. Feel free to comment down below. But yeah, and if you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. I hope to reach 1,000 subscribers this year. We will see what happens, but otherwise, I'm just hoping to have a good time. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye now.